Japan Journal, the internet's #1 English language weekly online cybercast from Japan. Japan Journal with Mal Adams. I want to get in this special interview with a young gentleman that I met at the Obon festivities. And let me say that again. Listen and repeat after me. Festivities. At the Obon festivities in the mountains above Aichi Prefecture. You saw the video slideshow of that, and the brother that was in there is a native of Ghana on the west coast of Africa. And man, he taught me more than I knew. In a brief 20-minute interview, we exchanged some culture, some history, and what can I tell you about this guy? He's an accomplished accountant. He's a young man. He's been in Japan over 10 years. And I had known him 10 years before in the neighboring city to Kakagawa called Hamamatsu. And he was acquainted with the host of the event, and we reacquainted ourselves. And I could not let him get away without letting him share some of his knowledge and some of the background and history of his family in Ghana, and how all of us black folks in the diaspora come together as one, because we know from whence we came, y'all. And in case you don't know, you're getting ready to know right here. So allow me to present to you Jerry Agyemang. Jerry Agyemang from Ghana, a good friend of mine and a future business partner, without a doubt. Check out his interview, ladies and gentlemen. I think you're going to learn something. Mr. Director, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, give it to me. So give me the story, Jerry. What's your last name again?
Agyemang.
How do you spell that?
Agyemang is Agyemang. Agyemang.
Sounds like Ghanaian.
Very Ghanaian. It's a royal name, as a matter of fact. I'm Ashanti, belong to the Ashanti tribe of Ghana. We are very proud people. We the largest ethnic group in Ghana. We were the only tribe, I would say, in sub-Saharan Africa, probably 1 out of 3 tribes that were able to face up to the British, to the imperialists, to the colonizers many years ago. We were able to fight them on 3 different occasions, and we are very strong people. That's the name. Agyemang means reaching saver. Okay. And so
I'm going to ask you one more time so I can get it in my head. Agyemang, A-G-E.
G for Germany, Y-E-M-A-N, for Germany.
Y-E-M-E-N-M-A-N.
G. And so, yes.
And the pronunciation slowly.
Agyemang.
So, how popular is that name in Ghana?
It's a very popular name. I mean, once you mention the name, everybody knows exactly which part of the country you hail from.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it's a very, I mean, that's part of our culture, heritage in Africa. When you mention your name anywhere in Ghana, people trace exactly which, not your home, but which tribe you come from. Agyemang is a very well-known Ashanti name. Right. Not everybody, sorry to say, not everybody can grab the name, because you must be hailing from some, it's royal, as a matter of fact, and so you can't just pick it up and use it.
To be a descendant or a relative,
some relative or some distant relative of some king.
So as an African American, my name is Adams, so where would you guess I'm from in the United States? That's a joke.
Yes, I know. In the States, there is nothing, but sometimes in the South.
That is not my name.
Yeah, okay.
I'm from where I came.
Right.
And we were given the names by the slave master.
Yeah.
And it did not matter what part of America. We were relegated to the South and the cotton fields of the Delta.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's a
thing of joy to hear you say that is our tradition, huh?
Very much so.
Tribalism and also the location of the country that you emerged from.
Yeah, that I come from.
Amazing.
Yeah, and in many respects, I mean, it's my mix. What happens in Japan? Japan is a very cultural country, right? Sometimes you mention of your setting, people can trace you many hundred years, right, down the lane, and so they know that okay, you come from this place, and in many respects, it's just like Japan, where we live, where we call where we call home, because names are meaningful, right? Meaningful, and they have deep cultural connotations, deep cultural meanings, and so you mention your name, where people know where you from.
You have a long history.
Yeah, very long, deep history, long
that
history.
drives that tradition.
Exactly, and names are very not just for the sake of. I mean, no, names do have meanings, meaningful
beyond identity.
Identity, and they have cultural meanings. There are cultural meanings to them. Then some names like Bonsu. Bonsu is another typical Ashanti name that shows a whale. It's a whale, and it has deep cultural meanings here. And Agyemang also has very deep cultural meanings.
I have a good friend, my closest Ghanaian friend is Ofusuama.
Yes.
What can you tell me about that name?
Ofusuama, it's kind of in a gray area, middle area.
Not Asante.
Another, it could be Ashani, but it's not clear cut. There are some names you cannot pinpoint exactly where it comes, because as cultures have grown, evolved, certain names have also lost their kind of identity. So it could be a Ghana, could be an Akan. An Akan is a broad ethnic grouping of 6 groups. Ashanti is one, Ekwapim is one, Kweu is one, Ekwapim is one, and I think a few other places joined from Akan. For sure, I know it's either a Ghana or an Ashanti, a Ghana or an Akan.
What about languages? Different languages?
Yes, we got loads of languages. We got about 45, at least 45 different languages. And you drive 20 kilometers across the territory, it has a totally different culture, different language. I'm talking about Ghana, I'm not talking about Africa, I'm talking about Ghana. And Ghana is more or less a drop of nation, of a drop in an ocean in Africa. It's a relatively small country. It's not complicated. It's relatively small country in 40-something countries. And hey, certain cultures you know nothing about. I mean, their sense of value, culture, religions, totally different. Food culture, it's like none other. I mean, there are certain foods elsewhere that you would struggle to eat because it's totally different. Way of thinking is different. What is of value, sense of value is very different. So it's incredible. Complex.
I'm jumping around in the interest of time. I want to be compact and get a lot of stuff in and the amount of factory that I have. So, forgive me if I appear to be jumping around, but I want to pick your brain on certain things on this subject. Religion. I'm not talking about adopting a European religion or the Roman Christianity religion, things like that. What is the religious picture, or would you call it religion? Would you call it spirituality? How would you describe the Asante? Asante. Is there a particular religion associated with that, or some kind of a faith, or I don't know how you would describe it.
Okay, thank you for the question. I mean, Ashanti doesn't have specific religion. Okay, we don't have specific religion. Because the European.
That's very interesting because I have a certain opinion about man-made religion. So I'm happy to hear you say that.
We don't really have fixed religion that one must belong to.
With nature.
Yeah, with
and
nature.
Understanding of what it is.
Exactly. I mean, before the Europeans came to Africa, we had our own religion. We had an African traditional religion.
Speak on it, brother.
Yes, and which a lot of people still do practice, right?
All over the world.
Yeah. foray of the Europeans into Africa changed a lot of things, right? I mean, it came with English name. I'm Jerry. It's my last name. That's not the case, right? Because I'm a typical African, and it doesn't make sense very much why I should be Jerry, right? Yes, and so they emphasize and Christianize staff, right? And so majority of Ashantis are Christians, by the way, but there are Muslims. There is free religion, people of all persuasions and faith, and so it's more like it's a secular, not like other part of Africa where if you belong to a tribe, you must necessarily must have some faith.
Yeah.
In
what does
Ghana,
that look like is what I'm really interested in. Prior to Western religion,
Western
Christianity,
religion. It wasn't Christianity.
Yeah,
it was totally. It was animist, just like Japan,
was born in East France, the Nicene Conference.
Sure.
When the Roman Empire let's capitalize on this religion to control our populace and commit war on the world in the name of God.
Right.
In a nutshell, that's what we
right. And so
you did that.
I mean, prior to the advent of Christianity in Africa, in Ghana in particular, they had their own religion. I mean, what the West would prefer to call animism.
Animism is what I was going to do.
Yes, animism.
Yeah, so I have learned, but I didn't have deep understanding, so I chose not to.
I'm not exactly an expert in that part, but I do know that we have our own religion. We believe in the omnipotent God. Every civilized society believes in the notion of an intelligent design, right?
Universal God.
Yes, so we have our own God that we worship, that we pray to. Who are spiritual in our own respect, and we still are respect, because not everybody is a Christian or a Muslim. And so
even the African slaves, we carry that through.
Exactly.
Okay, so they put us in a Christian box, but we have come out of the box.
You get out of the box,
and so we use it as a framework and an efficient tool.
Right.
Still, our youth and what. But when we get to singing,
right,
and praising the Creator, some other thing emerges. I believe that leads to Mother Africa. The next question.
Yeah.
How long have you been living in Japan, and what brought you here?
Okay, I've been in Japan for the past 13 years. I came to Japan once during my postgraduate studies in the Netherlands. I did an internship here. While on the internship, I fell in love in Japan because it's a deeply cultural place, and I love culture. I love people. I like society that values its culture. And actually, I was wowed by Japan's insistence on keeping its cultural identity. Right? They didn't give in much like other parts of the world did with the European colonization and what have you. They insulated against adulteration.
It's their pride.
It's the pride. Yes, and so
they do is based on
exactly. And so I love the fact that they have their traditions and their culture intact. And so I love place. It's with nature and all that. And so when I went back to the Netherlands, I decided to look for a job in Japan. So before I finished my program, I already had a job in Japan, 2006. And so I didn't hesitate at all. Most of my colleagues were heading to the west, to North America, Canada, what have you, but I chose to come to Japan. And
so your preparation, your program, what? You have a graduate degree?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
No, I have one MBA and I have one master's, so I have 2 masters. Yeah, I chose not to do my PhD here in Japan. I'll do it someday, but I'll do it.
And what were your disciplines?
I have one. The first one was MBA finance. I'm a finance guy. Yes, and my second master's was also in finance investments. Into finance. Yeah.
What are you gonna do with that, my friend?
Man,
you're working in the financial office right now.
Probably, yeah. Right now I'm in the financial office, but I'm looking beyond that.
That's true.
I'm looking beyond building a bridge between Africa and Japan. Right, I've already done a lot of things in that respect.
Which brings the book. Tell me about the book.
Yes, and that brings about the book.
Title.
The book is from obscurity to relative obscurity to significance. It's a story about Japan, rose from relative obscurity to being a global powerhouse.
Okay.
Global powerhouse.
Now, the obscurity from whose perspective? A Western perspective, would you
From
say?
Western
I'm
perspective,
sure they
by
were
and
not
large,
obscure in Asia.
they were not obscure, but comparatively, prior to the opening of Japan, it looked primitive, right?
Sure.
In the Western perspective, right?
That's what
and
I'm
so
saying.
through the lenses of that, in terms of science, technology, and modernity, because they still did very much. Human sacrifices were still, few that's
Modern Japan, Post-war.
and so it was still feudalistic society, very much, and I feel a lot of other things that people would Westerners would laugh at, and so they became westernized from 1869. It became formalized. Westernization was institutionalized. And so they rolled over and it became totally Western. They joined the game, and so the first Eastern Asian nation became westernized, and they were able to lead the rest of the Asian bloc.
Not by accident. That's a deliberate thing. If you know the history of the brother, there's a guy who went over to America to represent Japan, to acquire that knowledge and that relationship, and then they took off and running. And the rest of the world saw them from the back as they were leading that race. Became one of the most important industrialized nations on the planet after they figured it out.
Exactly. And so,
and that is not to say that they ignored or forgot their other traditions.
Right.
Because that, I'm sure your book may touch on this, that part of their financial and economic thing is imbued with their traditional.
Very much so. It's intertwined with their philosophies. I mean, Japan, it's one of the things that makes Japan stand out is the fact that they put their imprint on everything that they copied, right? They copied a lot of things, and they still do, but
and they improved on a lot of things they copied.
They improved, and then they put a touch of originality, Japanese touch, and Japanese imprint to a lot of things they did. And so, to put it mildly, Japan is a complex country, enigmatic in many respects, and to my mind, it deserves much more attention than it has get. Right?
I think so too.
As a journalist, I'm about that business, man, imparting the knowledge and the wisdom of traditional Japan to the modern world every day. As a journalist, telling the stories beyond the news. You do the deep dive, and you can reveal something very ancient and sophisticated.
Exactly. By no stretch of much. I mean, there were many Africans who were here decades. My people I can call my fathers and grandfathers, Africans who were here before I came. But I think the onus lies on me. I mean, that's my interest. I'm about exposing Japan, selling Japan outside. Let Africans know that Japan is more than just Toyota and Nissan, right? It got beautiful culture. It has a rare tenacity of purpose, right? It's really strong country. It goes down, it comes up, it rises, and I'm about demystifying Japan. This whole thing is about demystifying Japan, let the world know what Japan is about, especially as the Olympics coming, just next year, and people want to know what Japan is all about. What's Japan about? I mean, people ask me, hey Jerry, what are you doing in Japan? What the hell are you doing in Japan? Why did you find yourself in Japan in the first place? And I'm like, hey, Japan is much more than you know. It's much more than you know. It's a great place to live and all that. And so
they
that's
asked
all
me.
about.
I've been here longer than I've ever lived in the
anywhere,
States,
of course. Just like me. I mean,
you'll be doing the same thing, I'm sure.
I can bet on that. I can bet on that.
I'm excited about the project. Give me the name of the book again. So
the name of the book is From Relative Obscurity to Global Significance.
Very interesting.
And the lessons it offers to African and developing countries, right? But there's a lot of things to learn from Japan about their sense of time, sense of respect, duty, hard work. They got so many virtues. Things have changed very much from what it was 100 years ago, but by and large, it's still Japan. People are honest.
Comparatively, with some things that have foundation
Yeah.
that is strong.
Yeah.
The more they change, the more they remain the same.
The same. Exactly. Big brother, you know more than I do.
Yeah, well,
and so
I'm just your
yeah.
big
Brother, man,
Yeah,
I'm gonna get a
yeah,
two-shot here.
sure,
This is my
sure.
new son here, brother Jerry.
That's my name, yes. And that is the Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Big Daddy Marik.
Yeah,
Marik. He's
it's a-
called Marik. Maruchan in Japan, by the way. He's Malcolm. He's called Maruchan.
Malcolm, right.
Yeah. It's a pleasure. Great, nice meeting you. 頑張ります。ありがとうございます。
今日楽しかったね、この民宿で、この2日ね。とっても面白い。ようベテランだから。
まあね。
何年前かな。
もう10年前ですよ。
10年前か。
毎年ここはもう文化になって
パパだから、でも初心者だから、彼に比べてたらね、he's my 先輩。
今の時点は。
急に日本語になっちゃったから、二人で面白いね。
そうですよ。
Two brothers, you know. My senpai from Africa, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. He missed the shipment of brothers.
楽しいですので、来年もよろしくお願いします。来てくださいね。
Okay.
来年来てください。
はい。じゃあ皆さんこれでthat's going to do it for this edition of Japan Journal. I'm your host Matt Adams here on the internet's #1 English language online weekly cybercast from Japan. Japan Journal with Matt Adams and my special guest, the Tokushu today. Special one guest for this particular edition, Jerry.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Cheers.
All right.
See you again.
I'm going to fade me out now. Fade me.
So what'd you think about that? Interesting young brother, huh? Man, I'm telling you, black folks in the diaspora, baby, it's a different kind of thing going on. We bring something to the party and we leave something behind us. Nation building in a nation, leaving the big footprint, baby. 40 years and running, and all my young brothers coming over here. I recommend y'all to pack a bag, come over here and send for the rest of your stuff, because America's in trouble. But they'll get it right. The people have to get it right. All right, I ain't mad at y'all, but I love Japan. I ain't going nowhere. Pardon my candid response and assessment about life here in Japan. I hope you learned something from this young brother about this civilized nation where I've chosen to make my home here. And my gift to you is to present Japan Journal live streaming on a regular basis so you can hear these stories for yourself. It is an amazing journey, and it's just getting started, because 40 years and counting, it gets greater later. Don't get it twisted. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this edition. Don't forget to Google or keyword search Richie Love, my homeboy, with a new project called New Horizons. We'll be doing him little by little until we get him on here live, and that's going to be coming up very soon. On Japan Journal, the internet's #1 weekly online English cybercast from Japan, Japan Journal with yours truly, Brother Mal, from beautiful downtown Kakegao City in the middle of the Japanese archipelago, in the nation at the edge of the earth. I love y'all unconditionally, whether you like it or not. Holla at your brother. I'm out.
Japan Journal, the internet #1 English language weekly online cybercast from Japan. Japan Journal with Mal